Do we have any more edifying testimonies? Yeah, because we have early bedtime.
I think I have one.
Well, hurry up. Get up here and speak loud. Give glory to Jesus.
Oh, man. Where do I start? My day was just incredible today. So first off, my mom left for work this morning, and I was just me, and I got a text from Rebecca, and she was like, yeah, Sydney's gonna go pull weeds at Cherry's shop, and she's like, you wanna come? I was like, yeah, I didn't really have anything better to do at home but be selfish. so I go. And me and Sydney, we're just like full of weeds. We're having just like a worldly conversation, like you would with most people. And then our conversation got like super deep. Like, I'm not kidding you, like it was like really deep. And we got so like connected. We really like connected Jesus and to each other. And then I shared with her this dream I had last night. So I'll just get to the important parts because a lot of weird stuff happened in that dream. So yeah, we're just like playing volleyball and stuff. And I walked over to this like gazebo area or something. It had like stairs. There was this man standing at the top of the stairs. I hear him talking to himself, and he's like, my daughter died. My daughter died, and my wife is dead. And I've done so many bad things in my life, and he just says, I want my life to be over. He was gonna commit suicide. And so I'm just standing there, and I just look at him, and I said, you don't have to commit suicide. You don't have to do this. It's not going to make your life better. It's not going to do anything for you to commit suicide. And I don't even remember what I said to him, but I said something so extremely profound from him. I know it was from Jesus. And then he leaves, and I leave. I start playing like grass volleyball with everybody. And then all of a sudden I see him, and he starts walking towards me, and he's just filled with light, and he's like beautiful, I guess you could say. He was like an old man before, but he was radiant. And then he just said, what you said to me, it brought me to Jesus, and it saved my life. It was just, my day was so great. Thank you, Jesus, for this beautiful day. And I babysit for our neighbor, for this little girl named Zanaya, and I had a good time with her and our friends at the park. And it was just filled with Jesus. This was a great day.
Yeah, come on up.
I wasn't sure if I'd say much until Josh just said what he said, when he prayed on the way up here that the Lord would give us girls something. I was like, I gotta share now. But I think just what I got tonight, I just was so blessed being here. And then when Noah came and prayed for us, I just felt almost like when Dean touches us and we pray, and I just like have to pray in the Spirit, and it's like even with him not being here, I still felt it was really powerful. It was, I can't even explain it, just being here and with the girls, and that was really special. But when Josh said that when they said, several different things, but when you said that I pray that, they would receive the gift of Mary. Is that what you said, Josh? The Spirit of Mary. Yeah. That was my prayer on Mother's Day. And I shared a little bit, but that was what that came out of me when he was talking about care for others. And I just said, Lord, I want that. I want more of that care. So when Josh said that, I was very moved because I felt like, yeah, I got that. And even this morning, just going to my dentist appointment, just wore the shirt, I'm like, I'm just going to the dentist appointment, but,
It's
running
the
some,
light of mine.
just running some errands, and I was just talking to the Lord, just me, the girl, I didn't have my little kids with me, so I was just talking to the Lord on the way, and I was like, Lord, I think I can get afraid of what people think of me. It's like, Lord, when I'm talking to others about, or it's like, it's about me, it's not about letting them see you through me. And so that was my prayer today, Lord, that I pray they see you. There's a Wendy and Mary song about that too, when they're looking at me, I pray they'll see you. Yes. And so I just, it was kind of silly, but just like, I felt like I just received having him on me for whoever, and just talking to my little hygienist, and we had a good time. But then when you go to check out, the lady was talking, older lady was talking about her back, and, her COVID back, she got, it was all, so she's like, and she's across the counter, she's across this counter, so I didn't, like, lay hands on her, but I just prayed, Jesus Christ, touch her back. It seems kind of, later I'm like, gosh, maybe I should have, like, tried to, lay touch over, yeah. But I was like, you don't have to go nuts here, but I just wanted to at least say something, and so when we're talking about being lights, I want to take that on even more for myself. It's not about me, it's not about us, it's about Jesus, them seeing Jesus when I'm walking and doing my things, and so that's all I wanted to say.
Real quick.
Yeah.
So while the girls were praying, I really wanted to pray for us, and I looked over at them, and it was like the Lord wanted me to pray for you because you might have felt abandoned, but you were taken up, and I just want to pray for you.
Yeah. Awesome.
Sakalia toso kutu fulahetia sakatia tokusure. Napalikia te sakatia toso yoto. And just pray, Jesus, for the spirit of adoption. Yes. Just that you give him the revelation, Lord, that he was not left to himself. Yes. He was watched over his entire life. Yes. Yes, Lord. And he would be set free. Yes.
Susie sent to me this book, and she said, I don't know that I really should send this to you because it helped me a little bit, it didn't help me a lot. And so I started listening to this book, and the book was about telling yourself the truth. And one chapter, 30 minutes in one chapter, and I'm sitting there with my notebook, and I write in my notebook, you ask too much of me. And I wrote that in my notebook, and I went, well, that's a lie. But I didn't go any farther than that. That's my biggest problem is I make so light of what he says to me. So, Lori and Betty come over to talk to me. Came over and we talked. They didn't come to talk to me. They came over and we talked 2 days in a row. And the first day I said to myself, I'm not going to be afraid. Because, when you go to the principal's office or it's all about you, you get kind of afraid that, you're going to be in trouble. But I said the first day, I'm not going to be afraid. And there wasn't much of a breakthrough, but we talked and lots of fellowship came out of Lori and a lot out of Betty too. And then the next day they said, can we come again? And I said, yeah, well, come again. And this time it was a different atmosphere, and I mentioned that I wrote in my notebook, you ask too much of me. And I And she said, what did God say? And I didn't remember what God said. And I don't know that God said this, but I said to him, I'm sure glad, Jesus, that you didn't say that to God when you came to die for us, that you didn't say you asked too much for me. But I didn't say that to these guys that day because I never thought about it. But when I said that to Betty and Lori, look at the size of her and the size of me. And we're sitting about this far apart. About that far apart, Betty. And I know this was the zeal of the Lord. And it was for me. And she just rose up in her chair and says, he didn't do enough for you? You know, he asked too much of you? I mean, it was like, holy. And and it was holy. But I don't think I really received it or recognized it right away that, you know, that's my problem. I never take seriously my sin. You know what? He has done for all of us so much, for me so much. And we just talked about so many things then, and it was like, oh my God, thank you. Thank you that you love us enough, me enough, that you would get in my face and just help me see.
Yeah.
You know, help me see, and I've seen so much more just because of that, and I just want to thank you, and I thank you too for even coming up. And it's been really great.
You were a practical atheist and you got delivered.
That's right. Amen. Anyway,
She even took
that
Stella
was
for a walk that
supernatural.
night. I told Jerry, I said, I know you got changed because you're indifferent to Stella and you took her for a walk. I know something happened.
So a couple things. Thank you for the definition. Again, a practical atheism. Really heard it. Really heard it. That's the source of all my problems. And I would have never called myself that. I would have never defined myself as that. But that answered a lot of my questions. Your testimony as well. I heard the spirit of that as well. You're right where you belong. And I mean, there's times at what I do for work, I'm so busy and I'm so overloaded with the duties of it. Y'all have heard this many times. But I was asking the Lord probably 2-3 weeks ago, Lord, please, I need this job to slow down some. I need to be able to slow down so that I can do what I feel like you put me here to do, not just write loans and herd them in, herd them out. Here we go. So I was really asking for that sincerely, and my boss came in and said, we're going to get some more help, and we're going to do this and this, and I was like, oh, thank God, my prayers have been answered. I knew it wasn't going to be a quick answer, or it wouldn't implement quickly. But this week, I had a similar encounter with a lady that came in I was helping her do a loan refi on her mobile home. And she brought her documents in, and I had time to sit with her, and I heard her telling me about, she's a few years older than I am, but she's got 2 young grandkids, like an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old, and she fought for custody of them because they were in such a bad home life. And she wanted to get them out of that home life. Her son was the father, and he was in prison, and the long story, they were left with her mom, and she was a drug addict too, and the one kid had all kinds of problems, she told me. And I instantly thought, I need to give her the video of the QR code, and Janelle had texted to us. And I had enough time to pause long enough to go, Lord, what does this woman need? You know, she at some point said something about she had prayed or whatever. So as soon as somebody said they pray, that's kind of like your open door. And I gave her a little bit of my backstory just because I had the time, because I'm like, this is what I want to do. I don't want to just be like the lone rider and have nothing from Jesus.
Yeah.
I want to have
Lone rider,
hope.
lone rider.
And I had the time. She shared some of her life, and I'm like reaching for my phone, and I'm going, I'm thinking she might not even want to do this, but I'm like, what the heck? It don't matter.
You have hope
I
to give.
said, I've got this little video here you might want to watch if you just, take, and she did. And I thought she may not watch it, but she took it, and we had this exchange, and there was some good stuff with it, but she called me today, and she said, I haven't made it all the way through that video yet because she's kind of busy with the kids and what she's doing too, and she goes, but I just have to say, it's amazing. So it really touched her as well, and it just was exciting that my job had slowed down enough, and I had slowed down enough to be able to be paused, even though it hasn't slowed down that much. I've slowed down, and it's been good. But I really did hear that tonight about, because I was listening to that last week and going, practical atheism, that sounds like I didn't even know what it meant. I mean, I was listening, but it didn't really hit. But when you defined it that way tonight, and I was like, that is sticking with me. I am keeping that, because that's my problem right there. Anyway, that's not going to be my problem. It's not going to be that.
Your story reminds me, for some reason, all week I've had the scene from Ben-Hur in my spirit when he's being taken away as a slave, and the mean guard kicks the water out of his hand, and Jesus shows up. And it's like, he's not always just going to lead us to paradise right there, but he's going to have a cup of water for you. And if you ask, he'll be there. Is that no? Okay. We do need to skedaddle as soon as possible. So I love you guys, but please don't linger too much.
Thank you.
You know what? You can go. Wait, Mom wants to say something.
You know that, how many relatives, Esther, do you have in that documentary?
Wow.
That documentary is our bread upon the water. I mean, and even the stories individually, I watched Dylan's and I was so unbelievably moved. Because there's long versions, mine's horrible, don't give it to anybody. John has to correct me through it all, but
I gave this lady that I talked to the clip notes of your story about your kids, about what does the future look like for my children.
Wow.
Because this lady was trying to raise her two grandkids knowing that they were in the curse, and she
Yeah.
was going to be the curse breaker and help them out of it.
and there's so many variations of stories in it. There's not anybody that has problems in this world that isn't going to be touched by one. It's a shame to me that we don't all carry that and give it to people as much as we can, because even if they don't need it, and you tell them that these are stories about people, miracles in people's lives, and that you can find a lot of hope watching these stories, that's what I say to people. And a lot of people have been really moved. I've got a lot of texts, I don't even share them, but we have a great tool. I don't know if there's ever been a greater kind of evangelism, because look at the variety of all the different things on there, yeah. And it's really moving, this willow that shared, you never know. Look at one man came to a door, one video with all these varieties of stories on them. It's such a door opener to Jesus, to the ministry of life. Yeah, we have a tremendous tool, and we should all take advantage of it.
All people need is an excuse or a reason to drop their heads and say, Jesus, I wish you would speak to me.
Yes.
Or I wish you would throw away my inhaler. Or I wish, fill in the blank.
Yeah.
They just, because they see hope, they're like, well, if he did it for him,
Yes.
he can do it for me.
Yeah.
This is yours.